President Bola Tinubu reiterates Nigeria's commitment to a balanced energy transition approach as the International Labour Organization urges media to identify all forms of child labour in the country for stakeholders' intervention. And these are more on Panorama today from the Abuja Network Studios. My name is Ogoch Kuka. Ona. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria remains committed to a balanced approach to energy transition and still requires substantial investments in the oil and gas sector to meet the energy demands and economic needs of its population. The president was addressing the Group Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank, Bill Winters, and his team, who visited him at the State House. President Tinubu called for a just energy transition that supports vulnerable communities across the nation. He said Nigeria, with the largest reserves in gas in Africa, does not want to go backwards but forward and welcomes deepened partnership with institutions such as the Standard Chartered Bank. The President Tinubu also highlighted strategic projects across different sectors embarked upon by his administration to stimulate economic growth. He reiterated his commitment to sustaining ongoing economic reforms and measures to stabilize the economy. The bank CEO, Bill Winters, lauded President Tinubu's bold economic reforms, noting that the international investment community's recognition and support.
We're very ready to support this. Standard Chartered made a commitment a couple of years back to deliver $300 billion of transition financing. Most of that will go into Africa, South Asia, and developing Asia, where we've been operating for well over 150 years. And the idea there is to provide some of the catalytic capital to help to really accelerate this transition. We recognize that the transition has to be a just transition, so that the people of Nigeria must continue to have the opportunity to develop. And that means an element of reliance on fossil fuels while at the same time investing in the transition. So these are some of the ideas and some of the concepts that we discussed with the President and with his climate advisors and Finance Minister and others. These are the opportunities of our time. We think that Nigeria is striking an appropriate balance.
Despite government efforts to curb child labor in Nigeria, the practice is increasing, with perpetrators adopting new strategies to keep evading justice. It is against this backdrop that the International Labour Organization is urging the media to identify all forms of child labor in the country and bring them to bear for stakeholders' intervention. Joseph Otsen reports.
At a spot like this roundabout in Akwanga, Nasarawa State, it is possible to identify different forms of child labor, such as street hawking and begging, artisans and construction works. This is the fate of 24 million children in Nigeria, deprived of developing their skills, with agriculture being the major culprit based on United Nations reports. Out of this number, 14 million are said to be working in hazardous conditions, including mining, trafficking for prostitution, and even recruitment into cybercrime.
When you are taking a child to a set and they are there for days, meaning that some of them actually will miss school. So it's definitely not all that great.
Do you know that children are being forced to crack school to sell out?
Journalism that looks
at this 3 days training, the International Labour Organization is engaging journalists to play a vital role in exposing child labor, its implication on development of children and society through in-depth investigative journalism and human angle stories.
the challenges, the issues, the implications on the society, and the nexus of the issue being talked about or being discussed with the sustainable development goals.
As I drive right now, I'll be able to see a particular situation and say, no, this is a case of child labor. That I couldn't do before this training.
Increasing violent crises in parts of the country, Criminal activities and poverty, among others, are identified as major drivers of child labor. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
Global Alliance will be making a case for the inclusion of responsible communication in line with the 18th goal of the Sustainable Development Goals, given its importance. President of the Alliance, Professor Justin Green, stated this at a luncheon with the leadership of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in honor of the President of the Alliance. Haman Jabani reports.
The luncheon put together by the President, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Ikeni Aleaku, in honor of the President of the Global Alliance, Professor Justin Green, provided public relations experts an opportunity to interact in a more relaxed atmosphere. Aside that, some important issues discussed were the strengthening of the relationship between the Global Alliance and the NIPR, as both parties agreed to collaborate and support each other in any way possible.
The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations desires to work very closely with Global Alliance. That's why we came to you and requested that you support us to establish the Public Relations and Leadership Academy.
Professor Green said, knowing the essence of adopting responsible communication the world over is crucial, as is all that people do, act or say. He informed his host of making a request at the UN General Assembly to add responsible communication as the 18th goal of the Sustainable Development.
Everyone has a responsibility to ensure responsible communication is not just run by an institute or promoted by a public relations institute. It has to be ingrained in the whole body of government, political systems right around the world. What I've seen here today, Nigeria and NIPR are certainly setting the main steps forward during that.
Since you came, you have seen Nigeria. The impression we're talking about is beginning to change from whatever you might have heard about Nigeria. This is Nigeria, not what people write out about. So you're going to see it yourself firsthand.
I want to extend my advocacy that it's something that you also look at on a broader scale. How to help your practitioners, particularly build capacity, to address those issues and to play a greater role in national development.
Professor Justin Green is in Nigeria for the Diamond Ceremony celebration of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu congratulates the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on his birthday. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajurin Gelali, indicates that Governor Sanwo-Olu had a successful career in the private sector before joining the public service, scaling the leadership ladder. He further stated that Mr. Sanwo-Olu was elected governor of Lagos State in 2019 and re-elected in 2023 for a second term in office. The president prays for many more years in good health for the governor and wishes him more wisdom and energy in his service to Lagos State and the nation. Now, operatives of the FCT Police Command have arrested suspects believed to be involved in the murder of a retired Army Brigadier General over the weekend in Abuja. Asabe Williams reports that FCT Commissioner of Police, Benneth Igwe, paraded the suspects alongside others 48 hours after the dastardly act.
Ya daga bindiga? Ya daga ma bindiga? Shi Allaji. Lokacin da mun saka gidan shi ogan ba. Ogan ya daga.
We went with the intent of stealing from the general, but when he brought out a gun for self-defense, we stabbed him to death.
Jamilu Rabiu, a middle-aged man confessing to the killing of the late Brigadier General Harold Udukore last weekend at his residence in Sunshine Estate, Abuja. This gang of 6 robbers who allegedly killed the general were caught through intelligence 2 days after the incident that cut short his life. The suspects, paraded by the FCT Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, are among other criminal elements paraded for various offences at the command headquarters.
I want to inform you that we have gotten the killers of retired Brigadier General Udukore Harold.
He reiterated that they are determined to fight criminals in the FCT with all the vigor it deserves. The Commissioner of Police says the remaining 2 suspects at large will be apprehended. Some women suspected to supply food and other basic needs to criminals in the forest and an escapee from the Kuje prison are among those paraded.
There are some kidnappers that we have been looking for. We have been to Gauraka in Niger State, Gauraka Forest in Niger State. We have been to Gidandogo Forest in Kaduna State. We have been to Kuyeri Forest in Kaduna State. We have been to Kagaruko Forest and Mountains in Kaduna State. We have been to Sadana Forest in Nasarawa, where we went to chase these kidnappers and in their territory, in their camps, and we have confidently dislodged them.
The CP called on residents of the FCT to cooperate with the police so that these crimes can be prevented so as to avoid unnecessary loss of lives. In Abuja, Asibe Williams, NTA News.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria says it still welcomes observations and constructive criticisms on how to improve the annual Hajj operations. The NACON chairman, Jalal Ahmad Arabi, stated this while interacting with members of the 2024 Hajj National Media Team in Makkah. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim has that report.
These are members of the 2024 Hajj Media Team inaugurated by the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria more than 1 month ago. As the 2024 Hajj season is over, members of the team are at the NACON office in Makkah for an interactive session with the Commission chairman and his management team on how the Hajj operations fared. The NACON chairman, who acknowledged the vital role played by the media team toward the success of this year's Hajj operations, says the Commission still welcomes observations and constructive criticisms that could help in improving the exercise going forward.
Thank you for your reportage. You did so well. Those areas that you've highlighted, we'll take them on board. Those that you haven't highlighted, please, by all means, you are members of the family, you are part of the project, highlight them.
The forum provides an opportunity to review the success story and the challenges of the 2024 Hajj operations and the way forward.
We didn't say we'll do it 100%, but there should be fairness in admitting that we did the best that we could in the circumstance, and in the process we had recorded some successes, and going forward we believe we can still do better.
Meanwhile, the NACON has specifically recognized the Nigerian Television Authority as the most outstanding broadcast media in the 2024 Hajj coverage. The NTA was recognized along with the Blueprint newspapers and an online news platform, Hajj Panorama, among more than 40 media outfits that constitute this year's NACON media team. From the holy city of Mecca and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
We'll be taking a break at this point. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Investigation to unravel the root cause of the fire that razed parts of the international headquarters of Love World Incorporated, also known as Christ Embassy, is still ongoing. Joel Popola reports that relevant government agencies are already assessing the situation as palpable anxiety on Sunday paves way for calm.
Fire incidents at the international headquarters of Christ Embassy
but it is one that will linger on in the minds of residents and members of the church in view of the magnitude of the inferno. This heavily guarded structure was hitherto an architectural masterpiece with an appealing aesthetics inside and outside, but the fire incident has changed the narrative. At the time of filing this report, the smoke from the inferno of Sunday is still visible, an indication of the severity of the tragedy. Lagos State Emergency Management Agency LASEMA and other emergency responders are still taking proactive steps to guarantee round-the-clock monitoring of the distressed building. Although journalists were denied access to the building, but the visuals, even from here, succinctly captures the extent of the massive devastation caused by the inferno. Officials of the Lagos State Building Control Agency LAPSCA are already carrying out integrity tests on the building to ascertain the extent of damage and determine the fate of the building. The incident is one of the numerous cases of fire incidents recorded this year, a situation respondents say requires more proactive measures.
The religious houses should also ensure and look into the safety of their buildings in case of anything that can bring about fire.
They should try to check the environment, the electricity, because most of the time they will say it's electrical fault. So they always check, maybe when they are going out, they switch off the electricity.
Although there is no official report on the cause of the incident from the church and other emergency responders, but regardless of the outcome of the integrity test, a statement attributed to the President Love Word Incorporated, Pastor Chris Oyakilome, indicates a new structure will be constructed to replace the building razed by fire. In Lagos, Joel Okwola, NTA News.
And now to health matters. Our National Cholera Multi-Sectoral Emergency Operations Center has been activated in Nigeria as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention confirms rapid increase in cases of cholera with more records of fatalities. Lagos State is worst hit. NCDC Director General Dr. Jide Idris says Nigeria is employing a One Health approach in the national response to control the spread of cholera with a wake-up call for governments at subnationals to prioritize combat plans. Olusheye Adeagbo has details.
Lagos State is the epicenter of the outbreak, with the highest number of cases, and with 15 other states of the Federation contribute 90% of the burden. For the NCDC Director General, observations from the outcome of risk assessment engagement place the country at high of increased cholera transmission and impact, with a case fatality rate of 3.5% since the beginning of the year. Consequently, the National Cholera Multi-Sectoral Emergency Operations Center to coordinate national response has been activated. Cholera is a food and waterborne disease caused by the ingestion of the organism Vibrio cholerae in contaminated water and food. These Nigerians are aware of the current cholera outbreaks and speak on their individual efforts to prevent contracting the disease.
So since we know there is outbreak now, we should be careful of our environment, especially the water we are drinking.
Because they say prevention is better than cure. I try to keep my environment clean.
NCDC says it has intensified sensitization drive, especially at the grassroots. In Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, NTA News.
4 research works are to get grants from TED Fund's partnership with the Science Grants Council Initiative. Zenre Dingmun reports that a committee to actualize the project has been inaugurated with a mandate to make Nigeria's research development and innovation drive more impactful.
Developing capacity is the first step to breeding innovative human resource to drive Nigeria's quest to empower researchers in skills development. So, the funding of these teams to develop a technology to mitigate the effect of drought in desert areas of northern Nigeria, an automated Gary frame machine, a biosensor device for water purification using solar energy, and an affordable access to electricity with vertical axis wind turbines.
This is a grant that is provided to participating countries, and Nigeria joined the SGCI in 2020. We got this grant of $250,000 US dollars for 4 participating groups. The essence is to help them transform their research findings, develop their research into prototype and into minimum viable product.
We believe that government, the public sector, regulatory bodies are very important. So they are one of the five fulcrums that innovation, research, collaboration revolves around.
This is a very important thing for us. The MBT is also ready to support anything that has to do with the skills.
The 4 teams comprising researchers from across tertiary institutions in the country are to improve their prior researches for commercial use in the country and beyond. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
In a significant show of commitment to regional security, the federal government has reaffirmed its dedication to ending insecurity in the Northwest region. Speaking at the Northwest Peace and Security Summit in Katsina State, Vice President Kashim Shettima pledged the government's unwavering support for the region, urging stakeholders to work together towards a common goal of a peaceful and prosperous Northwest. Awal Haliru reports.
The summit, organized by the Northwest Governors Forum in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP), aims to foster regional cooperation, strengthen security efforts, and promote sustainable development in the region. The Vice President's keynote address set the tone for the summit, which brought together governors from the 7 Northwest states and development partners. He emphasized the need for collective action to address the region's insecurity challenges.
We have also identified a roadmap that includes integrating military, political and socio-economic strategies, enhancing cross-border cooperation, investing in youth empowerment and education, strengthening local institutions, promoting inclusive dialogue, prioritizing prevention and resilience building measures, and engaging regional neighbors for support.
Governor Duko Umaru of Katsina State, who hosted the summit, praised the federal government's commitment to regional security.
We must act with urgency, determination, and unity of purpose. Let us build a region where every citizen can live in peace.
We are committed to ending this thing, and we are committed, and we are open, and we are ready for all possible collaboration.
We will be the ones to work for this and end these problems if we so desire. Nobody will come from somewhere to work for us.
The UNDP resident representative reiterated the organization's support for region's development and security efforts. She stressed the importance of addressing the root causes of insecurity.
The Northwest region holds immense potential for transformation as we navigate the challenges of fragility. The region, her people, and leaders embody the resilience, hope, and potential that needs to be connected to opportunity.
This inaugural Peace Summit is an important milestone for this collective shift and for moving the needle toward achieving not only peace and security, but in a broader manner, the sustainable development goal in Nigeria.
The summit will feature panel discussions and presentations on various topics, and participants are expected to share experiences and best practices, and experts to offer insights and recommendations. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
We now join Gift George for an update on stories trending in the sporting world.
After missing a 100 meters hurdles event due to illness at the ongoing Africa Senior Athletics Championship in Douala, Cameroon, world champion Toby Amuson Monday evening anchored Nigeria's women 4x100 meters relay team to win gold for the country. Toby anchored the race at a time of 42.72 seconds. The victory increased Nigeria's gold medal haul to 4. In the men's 4x100 meters relay, Nigeria finished in the second position at a time of 38.84 seconds behind Ghana. In table tennis, the Lagos State government says it is proud to have successfully hosted the World Table Tennis Contender Series for the second time, which proved that its facilities meet up to international standards. The international top-ranked tournament had over 100 players from various parts of the world vying for honors and points for 5 days, with India emerging overall winners after winning the women's singles event, beating Nigeria in the men's doubles, and claiming both gold and silver in the women's doubles event.
We're happy that the World Table Tennis Federation has identified Lagos, Nigeria, as one of the cities, that is promoting table tennis, and we're happy that the WTT contenders, world contenders, these are all world-rated players, have chosen Lagos as their destination. And the last 3 days, we've seen table tennis being played at the highest level, at the highest level that you can imagine. And we're happy that there are a few grassroots young Nigerians that also have thrown up from this competition.
This is towards the Olympics. It helps you get a good seat, a good seating, good draw in the Olympics, and that's why it's very important. That's why you see the top players still playing at this time of the year.
Sports update, Gifts George, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commiserates with the wife of the Vice President, Hajia Nana Shetima, on the demise of our beloved mother, Hajia Mariam Al-Bashir. In a statement, the First Lady says her passing is undoubtedly a painful one and a great personal loss to the wife of the Vice President and her family, while praying that Almighty Allah forgives all the shortcomings of the deceased and grant her Ajana Fidelsi. The First Lady also prayed that God comforts the bereaved during this difficult time, urging them to find solace in the remembrance of the good deeds and virtues that the deceased stood for. Meanwhile, the First Lady extends her condolences to Professor Hafsat Ganduje, wife of APC National Chairman, on the passing of her dear mother, Hajia Asiya Gauyama. Describing the loss of her mother as a painful one, the First Lady prays that God comforts her and grants the entire family the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. And that's Panorama this afternoon. Many thanks for watching.